Hello guys, welcome. I am Samantha the Introvert, and today I want to give you my personal recap on episode 2 of PitBabe, the series 2. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, the episode starts with Babe going to everyone along with Charlie to tell them about Chris and the picture to show them how very identical Chris is to Way. But it's not explainable to how the hell Chris is so similar looking to Way. Charlie said that the only thing he can explain is that it's a doppelganger. It's not impossible, but it's rare. Sonic shows very suspicious movement, but I could be wrong because remember, Sonic is a fashionista, so he could be talking to business over the phone. But Sonic came off the phone as soon as Nart shows up. But other from being a positive person and trying to flirt with Sonic, there is a person that is very sad inside Nart. Seems to be the kind of person who hides his emotion through smiling. Then we see Pete having drinks. Then Chris shows up. I feel like Way is Chris in disguise because he just showed up to be a drinking buddy. Just like how Way asked Pete to be doing a drinking buddy for him when he's low, Pete needs a drinking buddy too because he's pretty much on his low side. But again, no matter what angle Pete looks, Chris looks so much like Way. But Way is not Chris, and Chris tells Pete this a lot. Now, even though Pete hates to admit this and wants nothing to do with Chris, the lab needs his knowledge, and Chris is the only person they have that can help. Baby's a bit off, so he wants to go out for a ride, and of course, Charlie wants to go with him. I can bet you money that I don't have that this is really Pavel riding his own bike, or it could be another bike, but I know he's the one riding the bike. It's funny that we're in episode 2 and they're not using the power of a car other than racing. But in season 1, there were a lot of car driving, both racing on the track and normally. Babe really took the loss very seriously. Charlie sees this and Charlie is being very supportive, as a supportive boyfriend should, and trying to cheer Babe up. But instead of cheering Babe up, Babe started teasing Charlie, saying that Charlie too got lost to rookie Willie. And if he doesn't step up his game, Charlie will lose Babe to Willie. And that response got Charlie really upset. Look at Pooh, serious acting. Trust me, I do not want to cross paths with Pooh when he's upset, let alone Pavel. But the whole time I watch this scene, I still am puzzled to what caused that red mark on Babe's face. Did I miss a fight that I didn't see or something? Or was the makeup too much for him to do that blush? Okay, back to Kenta and Winner. But first, let's talk about the abandoned place layout. Doesn't it kind of remind you of Free Fire or PUBG or any 3D action gun games? Okay, so both Kenta and Winner are shocked to see Tony, who is supposed to be dead. Hell, Kenta was the one who stabbed Tony, so why the hell is he still alive? The fact that Tony is alive in front of them is shocking, especially when Tony is right in front of the very person who wanted to kill him. But yet Tony said he's not upset because he still is aiming for Babe and the entire team. And even though Tony still calls himself a father and claiming he took care of his so called children, but the best thing that I like about this is that Kenta now has a voice and he spoke up to Tony. Finally, because last season he was quiet and was afraid of Tony. But then you realize that Kenta was not afraid of Tony. He was just afraid of being left alone. Anyways, Kenta tries to leave, but of course, Tony didn't want Kenta to leave conscious, so the other guy knocked Kenta out. Darling, he knocked him out. On the other hand, Winner is still a kiss ass. But I am confused to why Tony is paralyzed and he's in a wheelchair. What or where did Kenta damage of Tony for him to be like paralyzed? Like where? But remember, that Kenta got knocked out. It seems Tony doesn't want Kenta to see the outside to know exactly where they are hiding. So they knocked Kenta out and dumped him elsewhere. Then we see Chris researching about Wei. I guess Chris wants to know about Wei and see how similar he looks to Wei. And know that now that he has this information, I don't know what he's about to do with it, but whatever it is, it's up to him. So Alan decided to distract himself by doing housework, and one of that work is to change the bulb. But the bulb ended up breaking and then cut Alan, and in came Jeff to suck Alan's finger, which, in my opinion, is the baddest move ever because we're not sure if there's a splinter in that finger, and Jeff just sucked it without hesitation. Now, I'm not sure if Alan is thinking the same as I am, but this should be a turn on, right? I do not like that Alan and Jeff are in a long relationship and Jeff is hiding so much information, an important one of that, about himself from Alan. Okay, so everyone together talking about the next move against Willie because now that they are down one racer, it's only Charlie and Babe on the track. Kim decided that he quits. Plus, training is gonna be very necessary. Seeing that they are stressing out about everything, Nard always trying to be the best out of the best, trying to make people chill and calming them out by doing what he does best. Alan then said that he wants someone to be their third racer and replacing Kim. That person is one that they are comfortable with and trust throughout everything. So Alan told Nard that he will be that person to take that place. Now that we have all three racers, Babe told them that he will be training a lot along with Charlie, and of course, Nart will be training alone. But then there's another problem. They don't have any mechanic because Kim left with his personal mechanic. Alan also have another thing. Yeah, he hired a mechanic. Can you guess who this is? You're taking too long, so I'm going to tell you. Turns out this mechanic is Dean. And trust me, I was shocked as you are. No one seems to stay dead in this place. Dean was supposed to be dead. But anyways, Alan told them all of now Dean get to come to him. First off, Dean betrayed them like twice. And Alan brought him inside the house and even feed him. Anyways, Dean told them about what we went through, but it's sad that he never got the chance to see who. Like, he didn't get to see that Tony was involved, anything. The boy, you should have followed that car secretly to know that Tony is involved of everything so he can tell them that Tony's alive. Honestly, Dean, I don't care if you look pitiful. I do not trust you because you betrayed them. I will not give you the benefit of the doubt. But Alan seems to have a bigger heart and letting Dean stay in his house plus forgives him. You forgave this boy off the shit that he did to you. And then there's Jeff, just agreeing with everything that Alan says. But even though no one accepts Dean, especially Babe, they agree to let Dean stay only because Alan says so. Plus, Jeff said he will be under his care so he can watch Dean. Again, Jeff is suffering. Now, no one touched this boy, and yet he's getting vision worse than That's So Raven. But the fact that he's actually suffering in front of everyone and no one saw him, damn. Later, we then see Babe at the bar and Willie shows up. Willie seems to be knowing everywhere that Babe is and know when he's alone. Willie said that he's a big fan of Babe. That is why he knows so much about Babe. Then Babe said that Willie's not the first fanboy that tried to approach him. Willie then clapped back and said that Babe had so many fanboy and one of those fanboy became his boyfriend. Bitch. Now Willie wants to do that to get that position. Yeah, that's not gonna work out. Babe got up to leave, but Willie keeps blocking Babe's way. But while blocking, Babe then sensed that Willie is an alpha. But Willie then confirms that Babe had to go this close to him for him to know that he's an alpha. Which means Willie knows that Babe's ability is very weak. To be coming this close to know his traits. Babe then tries to tease Willie, but Babe should not do that. It will be very bad for him and it will bite him back later. Later, we see Charlie at the lab still working on the experiment. He's very serious about this experiment. He wants this to actually work. Then we see this woman showing picture to Charlie that has Babe with Willie in it. Also, have you all noticed that this woman is the only female in this season because in the last season there were no females? But what Charlie doesn't know is that Babe is just challenging Willie to a race and that is why he was there with Willie. So they add a deal. If Babe wins, Willie must leave him and Charlie alone and stay out of the couple's sight. But Willie said that if he wins, then Babe has to go home with him the same night. And we all know what Willie wants. Willie will never be this lucky as Charlie. In the end, Babe got the winning spot. But at the same time, I feel like Willie was the one that let Babe win. Since Willie lost, he begged Babe to take a picture. But Willie got too close and comfortable and Babe pushed him away. But poor Babe, he lost his ability and now he doesn't even know why Willie just did this. Okay, so Babe came home and saw Charlie was there at the stairs angrily waiting. Charlie knew where and what Babe was with, but Charlie asked Babe about his location and if he was drinking, but Babe lied throughout the entire questions. But then Charlie noticed that Babe smells like an alpha, but that is purely Willie. He did that on purpose, and that is what Babe didn't notice. Babe tried to change the subject and talk about this experiment that Charlie is on, but Charlie is not falling for it. Babe seriously not realizing the issue he has caused because clearly we see that Charlie is pissed. But then Charlie told Babe that Babe has something good waiting on home and straight right away they started having some rough sex. They even called him Daddy. Daddy. Daddy was very upset with Mama. But even though Charlie was rough, it became a big turn on for Babe. I swear, Pooh really portrayed Charlie so good this season. Is very good. This season is very good. I want to see the people who doubted Pooh. I want to see them right now. I'm not gonna lie, the fact that Charlie ripped Babe's shirt and used it to blindfold Babe, but then said that he would then punish the naughty boy. Oh yeah, that's sexy. But the fact that Babe doesn't even know what he did wrong. Oh my god. Now the moment Charlie took those glasses off, you know it's gonna be real rough. Babe, you lucky you blindfold because if you would have saw how serious and upset Charlie is while giving it to you, I feel it for you. But also, we all know that Charlie really went for the sex right now because he wanted to eliminate the alpha scent and put his scent on Babe. First off, Charlie, be good to fuck this boy into sleep mode. Where's Chris Brown's song? That song, fuck you back to sleep. Damn, Pooh, really work out. Look at the man, Jesus Christ. Then, after confirming that Babe is sleeping, Charlie went on Babe's phone because it seems we do not have password on these phones. It's a big trust in this whole thing. Anyways, Charlie sees the post that Willie has and Charlie is not happy. Charlie is very possessive type of alpha and the fact that another alpha is with his partner is not good. But it's the morning and everything is playing in Charlie's head. Now he feels like he will eventually lose Babe to Willie. Let me tell you something. I saw Charlie in the apron, but Babe in an apron is very sexy. Babe is so busy making breakfast for Charlie because Charlie put it down good last night. But in reality, Charlie is very sad, but Babe is so happy because in his mind, he did nothing wrong. Which is true, but Babe lied to Charlie of his whereabouts. He didn't even tell him that he was with Willie last night and why he was with Willie. That's the part you failed, Babe. But just then, Willie sent a picture he took with Babe. And I can't really translate what the hell he wrote underneath it, but I wish I could have seen, or they could have just put a translation of it so I can know what the heck that Willie just said. Back at the lab, we discussing things and we get to know that Charlie was the very first person to test on all these experiments. And all the chemicals that was used on Charlie never affected Charlie like the others. And that's because Charlie still has his absorbing abilities. Back at the garage, we see that Dean is leaving to go home and Jeff is there. My question is Dean still staying with Alan and Jeff, or does he have like a place to stay? Right after Dean leaves, Jeff had another vision, but this one is a lot longer. And in this vision, he sees that Babe got into an accident. Jeff needs to check on his health because, dude, this vision thing is getting crazy. It's not good for him physically. Like, he might die if he keeps this up. But while he's in his weak state, he called Alan to call Babe to come to check on him. Like, he wants to talk to Babe. Honestly, dude, if you're like this, I thought you were gonna call Charlie, but no, you ended up calling Alan and collapsed right there. Man, eventually Alan is gonna find out now. Okay, guys, that is the end of my personal recap on episode 2 of PitBabe Series 2. Stay tuned for episode 3. Bye bye.